All right, good afternoon, traders, and welcome to the Pro Trader webinar today with Fausto. We had one earlier with Robert Rother in Germany. And today, Fausto, well, we've had Fausto many times from Cyber Trading University. He's a stock trader. He's going to go through his order flow and his setups using Bookmap from Cyber Trading University. And a bit of background on Fausto is one of the original SOS Bandits day traders back in the 90s using the Dome. One of the first independent traders to take advantage of that direct access in 1987. He required a wealth of knowledge from the hands-on experience, beginning in the trenches, working side by side with some of the most practiced and successful traders in the industry. After spending considerable time mastering the art and discipline of trading, Fausto chose to start his own company to share some of his highly sought after wisdom, and that's what the Cyber Trading University is all about. Fausto has his links here. I will put these into the chat so that you can access them directly when you click on them. Let me go through the disclosures and then we'll let Fausto take it away. General disclosure, all Bookmap limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure, trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, so Fausto, let me share your screen here, and then we are ready to go. All right. Go for it.
All right, everybody. Hope you can see everything okay.
Yeah, looks
All right, good. All right, well, thanks, Bruce, and thanks, Bookmap, for having me here again. It's always great to come and speak to your great followers and everyone that's using Bookmap. You know, today I want to do something a lot different than I've done before. I know you have some great people that come here and talk about Bookmap a lot, tell you their styles, what they're doing, but I want to take a step back. I've been doing the same thing over and over again, showing you my style, and you know, there's a great library, not only on my videos and my YouTube channel, but on Bookmap. I know there are a lot of people out there that found me through Bookmap and would see like, oh, I like this style. But you know what? The way I got started in trading, and I think this is where a lot of people are starting to find Bookmap and starting to realize that, wow, this is obviously a great platform that I need to trade today's markets, but they don't realize how to use it. And I think that's how I got into, that was probably the main way how I got involved in education, because I looked at it as an outside looking in. Most people that we've trained, like we do a lot of one-on-one coaching, we do a lot of mentoring, we review people's journals, like we really do have big on customer service, and it all comes down to one thing. Half the people fail because they just don't know what they're looking at. So you could look at this, you know, you'll see some people talk about some great indicators and they'll sound smart and they know what they're talking about and like, wow, this guy really knows, but I think I need to learn more. You have to understand that there are thousands of indicators, there are thousands of platforms out there, but there's only one buyer and one seller, and that's what Bookmap is going to show you. But before I do that, I want to kind of give you the basics of it, and then when you're done, if you like what how I explain things, then go and look at my other videos on Bookmap of the stock, how I trade that stock, why it's going up. I'll go over a little bit today, but before I do that, I just want to kind of get into the basics. So let me change the slide here. Hopefully everybody can see it. Basically, I'm going to invite every single one of you here to come and join me live for 1 week in my trading room. So you got the QR code. If you have your phone, just take your, turn on your camera or just type in that link and you'll be able to get registered for that. So just kind of save some time. I'll post it up again at the end. But once again, my goal is I'm only going to be talking for about a little bit more than about 30, 40 minutes. And if you're definitely interested, feel free to like us, friend us on our YouTube channel, also here on Bookmap, and then feel free to do the trial. I think you guys are really going to go into enjoy it. So some of the things I'm going to talk about for beginners, I'm going to talk about the heat map, I'm going to talk about the orange lines, I'm going to talk about the red lines, I'm going to talk about the ball, I'm going to talk about the current order book. I'm going to cover all these little things that some of us, you know, you might look at someone else showing you Bookmap and be like, wait, his looks a little bit different than Fausto's, you know, or what did he do differently? And these are things we're going to basically want to cover because I think basics is key when it comes to trading. So how do I read the Bookmap? I guess that's the way we're going to come down to it. So with that said, the Bookmap has all these crazy colors how it worked. Now, let me tell you, I've been doing this for 30 years, and everybody wants to come to somebody that's very well known in the industry and say, hey, could you endorse my product? Could you look at this, Fausto? And let me tell you, and I think I say this all the time, and Bruce actually, met me doing one of these big traders challenges at the money shows, where I basically competed with every one of these traders, which by the way, I beat every one of them I competed against too. But my point I'm getting to is everybody wants my endorsement. I never endorsed anybody's product because they're all garbage. I mean, I have no allegiance to any other brokerage firm. I have no allegiance to any software company. But when I was first introduced by this platform from one of my students, which I had a lot of respect for because he was one of my most successful traders, I looked at it and I tell you, I was sold within minutes. I said, this is exactly what I've been looking for. We use it every single day in our trading room. And once again, you'll find me on the Thinkorswim platform. I show you how to do. I have a video on that one. It's our most popular video on YouTube. Make sure you like that one too, and everything else. But for some of us, you like everyone's going to talk about how great the platform is. Well, what sold me? I'll tell you what sold me. I'm a market maker. I live here in Wall Street. I live here in New York. I was trained by some of the best traders, and what I was trained what to do is how to follow dominating brokerage firms, algorithms, institutions, high frequency trades, all those things that teach you how to read the future. And regardless, getting back to everyone else that you probably see here talking about it, they're all going to tell you about how to use it on options, how to use it on futures, how to use it on cryptocurrencies, everything. But it really comes down to the basics. Regardless of your style, how are you setting it up and how you're reading it, keeping it very simple. So I want to talk really quick just on time and sales. Now, some people look at time and sales, they're probably a little overwhelmed about it. They're like, well, I don't understand, where's that data coming from and where does that go from? So let me talk about time and sales, because time and sales is about maybe 50% of the number one tool that controls my Bookmap that makes everything else work. It tells you what the past is, which is all those balls. And then you got the heat map, which is going to tell you what's out there, which is on the current order book. Now, we're just looking at a basic chart here, just kind of basically showing you a stock that we were trading this morning. This was XPEV, which was a really nice mover this morning. We traded, and the stock ran from about $15.60 all the way up to about $17 in a matter of about an hour, which is not bad. I mean, think about it. $1.50, 1,000 shares, $1,500. Looking at a nice little over $300,000 salary if you could do that every day in 30 minutes. I don't know too many people that make that much money. But why did it go up? Why did it stop at 17? Okay. Why didn't it continue to go higher? All these little things of the strategy that a lot of you are trying to figure out how to read the future, we're going to get there. But let's get back to why it went up. So one of the biggest tools that people neglect that don't set up on their platform is time and sales. So right here on the right hand side, you have a time and sales window. Now I'm going to get into more detail explaining how it trickles into the Bookmap. This is a basic time and sales that every brokerage firm offers. And what you have right here is I have them color coordinated just as in green and red. Green means you have transactions going off on the offer. That means that if someone's selling it, someone got executed on the offer. And red means that a transaction went off on the bid. So if there was a buyer on the bid, that buyer got executed. Now you'll notice that on the chart, then you have a candlestick. Candlesticks, once again, I know I'm getting basic, but I don't know your experiences, but some people need to learn this stuff. Candlestick, obviously, depending on the wick and where it opened and closed, it'll be a green candle or it'll be a red candle. You can see that I had a lot of green candles going up, which would mean that the stock had constant buyers. Now, to kind of explain the two differences, the problem with the chart is the chart is delayed. We're looking at a 1 minute chart. So whatever happens within a minute, it's going to take a minute to happen before it shows up on the chart. On the time and sales, the chart now listen to me carefully. The chart gets its data from time and sales. So I am called a tape reader. I don't know if anyone here reads any. You can read my book, How to Beat Market Makers in Their Own Game, which, by the way, I'll give it to you for free if you guys register for, join my trial. It pays $47 on Amazon, but I'd rather give it to you for free because that's always cheaper, right? I go into great detail about this. The time in sales. The chart gets its data from time and sales. So I'm a tape reader, and I was learned how to read to be a tape reader. A tape reader basically just tells us where the direction of the market's going. So once again, you see a lot of greens, stocks going up. You see a lot of reds, stocks going down. It's almost like common sense. The problem is everybody looks at a chart, and if you look at a 1-minute chart, you're 1 minute behind. You look at a 5-minute chart, you're 5 minutes behind. You look at a 200 moving average, you're 200 moving points away behind. The time in sales is what controls everything in the market. That is telling you where the transactions are taking place. That's why they call it a time, and that's why they call it a sale. So what you could see right here, you have 3 columns. You have the price, you have the amount of shares, and you have the time. Now this is very important because when we go to the Bookmap, you're going to see how that correlates to one versus the other. But everybody here, before you even got a Bookmap platform, no matter where you come from, or maybe you consider getting it, everybody has this, most of you should have it on your brokerage firm account. Now, a lot of people neglect to don't put it up because they look at it like, well, it moves so fast, can't really keep track of it, don't know what I'm looking at. Listen, if you can't read this, you should not be trading, okay? And if it's moving too fast, it only explains one thing. You're looking at a fast-moving stock. Or better yet, you don't have your default set properly. Which, once again, I have a whole training video on that alone. But for some of you that are looking to promote and go to the next level and want to look at the Bookmap kind of simplifies it even better for you, and that's why it's such a popular platform. So let's look what we're looking at right here on the Bookmap version. So if you look right here, I have them defaulted as in balls. Now you have lines, but then you have a ball. Now the ball is basically the time in sale. Now, getting back to that time in sale, you see how it's like greens and reds and numbers going across. Imagine all that being all basically put into a ball right here. That's basically what you have, one big ball. Now, that ball could be set up as a minute, as a second, whatever it is, and I'll show you that on the Bookmap platform. Now, right here in the bottom, you'll notice that is the actual bar. Now that bar tells you, basically how much volume went off at that moment of time, and red means that if there were a lot of sales, green means there was a lot of buys. And then that little ball, depending on how much volume went off, the ball will be bigger if there was a lot of volume. The ball will be smaller if there were low volume. So what makes stocks go up and go down? And I'm going to keep repeating this over and over and over again. Buyers and sellers. What makes a stock go up really fast? A lot of buyers. What makes a stock go down very fast? A lot of sellers. So these transactions that you would see on this that maybe you can't comprehend, which is normal for most traders, simplifies it when you look at this Bookmap. Okay. Now, once again, this is all going to translate into how the Bookmap is going to make you a smarter and better trader. But to understand what those balls are and understand what those bars are and to understand what the heat map is going to lead to, which I'm going to go to next, is what's going to make you realize that what drives these things go up and go down. Now, just once again, green equals buying pressure, red means selling pressure. And that's how we kind of use the volume dots to kind of tell us where it's going. Now, let's go to the platform itself and just what we're looking at. Now, I'm going to bring up the Bookmap platform here. Now, hopefully everybody could see it. All right. Now, I want to go talk about this stock XPEV. Now, XPEV, now you can notice the stock had a good run up. Now, let me just bring up my chart. Okay, let me bring up my chart that I had just earlier. Where's my chart? Here we go. Let me bring up this chart. Now, here's the chart that we're looking at it. Now, when you look at the Bookmap platform, it might look a little bit more complicated, like, wait a minute, it doesn't look as easy as this one, okay? Because I eliminated a lot of the indicators and all that other crap that's on there. But you could see, that it went up and it hit a price around 17 and it came back down to 16.25. Now, let me go back to the Bookmap platform. Now, you'll notice how that stock had a good run up and it went up to that $17 and it came right back down. Now, you could see the volume balls, how they got bigger and smaller, small, big, big, big. And you'll notice that it almost looks like a clock. And when you look at that clock, you'll see that sometimes the greens are more predominant in that ball than the reds. And that's what's driving it up. Now, that is basically understanding where if we're getting buyers and sellers. Now, the goal to be a good trader is this. And this is where people make a lot of mistakes. They don't know how to have a game plan. Let me tell you what the biggest thing that we teach at Cybertrade University. It's not about how to make money. It's how to stop losing it. It's about controlling losses. Winners take care of themselves. Losers is what you have to worry about. And not only that, another big problem people have. They don't know when to take a profit. You get greedy, you get cocky, you're like, oh, what am I going to do all day? It's already an hour. Listen, you have to understand that, and I tell everybody this, and you might have heard me say this before, you are the ants of the floor. You're trying to get the crumbs. These people are moving millions and millions of shares. You have to know where those orders are. Think how much smarter and better trading decisions you would make if you were able to see that. I don't know if a lot of you here are very familiar about a little history about Cybertrade University, but let me just bring this up really quick and show you something. If you go to Cybertrade University, I just want to go to my website. I want to show you something really quick. Okay, so right here in the middle, okay, I'm actually going to be at NASDAQ on Thursday. I'm actually a regular guest at NASDAQ, okay? NASDAQ has something called NASDAQ Book Viewer, which is, I call it level 3, okay, of trading. Bookmap, I call it level 4 of trading. It's the next level. And NASDAQ, let me just explain to you. They invite me to come on their show because they know that most people trade because they don't know how to trade the market. They just don't understand it. And when you look at it right there, there's a video you could actually watch, and I highly recommend you watch it, and make sure, please like it when you see it. I go into detail how to use the NASDAQ Book Viewer. And like I told you, I will be there live. I'll be there live on Thursday. And if you register, like I said, if anyone here wants my email, I'll post it in the chat, and you want to watch it. But the thing is, this is very similar to Bookmap, but it's just that Bookmap is just at a different level, a totally different level, because you're seeing on Bookmap, you're seeing the NASDAQ book, and you're also aggregating other exchanges like EDGX. So when you're watching only 50% of the volume that's going on a specific stock, and let me tell you, the NASDAQ actually trades probably about, in total, 50% of the total volume of every stock that trades in the market, okay? And then when you add on another 25% more EDGX on there, now you're at 75%. So you're talking about, you're seeing a lot of volume that's going on the whole complete street of the market. So the goal is you need to know where the street is. Okay, you can't sit there and tell me that you know about XPEV. And listen, I'm going to talk about Tesla and I'll talk about AOI today too, that move very well. But what I want to focus on is this. Now you know how the ball works. You know how the time it sails, that's what it makes it up. Now the question is having a game plan. Now, once again, what did I say earlier? How do stocks go up and go down? Buyers and sellers. Now right here, I want you to notice that right here, this is an order. And what's nice about this Bookmap, you could like zoom in, you can move around, and you'll see as I'm moving out, I could like move this around and go everywhere. And I went right around this time, around 10:30. Now, if I zoom in, right, I'm moving my ball. I don't know if you can see this, but I'm taking my mouse, I'm rolling the ball up. You see how it go up like that? Now, what I want to do is I want to move this line right here under the COB, which is current order book. And watch this, okay? See that number right there? If I move that number right there, see how it goes from 12,000 to 50,000? Okay, so I am seeing, and then this seller actually showed up right around here. You see right here around this 1018? So he started showing up, and as the stock is going up and it's trading at 1693, you know you're literally about 7 to 8 cents away. You just came up to a new seller that showed up. Now, don't ask me who that seller is. Who the hell cares, right? Who cares? It doesn't matter who that person is. I get people ask me, how do you know he's short? Is it sell? Who cares? Okay? All you know is he wants to get out of that trade. And look how much time you had. You literally had maybe about 2 minutes to 3 minutes to get out of it, because now look what happened. It never got up to that $17 price range. I'll zoom in a little bit closer, make it even look, it can make it more obvious. See how much clearer it is? And if you didn't get out of it, now look what's happening to the price of the stock. What is it doing? Now we're down to 690, now we're down to, and now you're starting to see the balls are starting to get a little bit redder. Okay, which means, and you can see here on the bottom, look at here on the bottom, you see those bars? Those bars are not as green as it was over here, like at 1017, but now they're starting to get a little red. And as I'm moving it, now look at all these reds. Now look, we're dropping down to 1618, okay? And sure enough, look what happens. Oops. I zoom in and zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. Now look at it. We're dropping and we're dropping, and the stock goes all the way down from that 17 right back down to 1640, okay? And actually dropped down right around here around 1130 or almost 1620. So you can, this is how you make a winner into a loser. By you not knowing where the buyers are and seeing those buyers getting executed, and not knowing and seeing the future out there by seeing those sellers, that's how you blow up, make a winner into a loser. I'm going to show you two more, okay, really quick. I want to bring up this one too, okay. AAOI was another nice mover this morning that we found. It was stock on our watch list and everything. But you could see right here around 9:30 in the morning, you see there's a lot of greens. The green bar is a little bit thicker than the reds. That means, remember, getting back to time and sales, a lot more transactions on the offer than the bid. Stock goes up beautifully. Look at the bulls right there. Big, big, fat green bulls. That means a buying, buying, buying. Now the question is, how's Bookmap help you out? Well, it's all about having a game plan. Where are the sellers? So right here you had some sellers. Let me just move on over here. And if you notice this big seller right here, and I'm gonna zoom in over here and give you a little better perspective. That was about a 24,000 share seller. Now, there are things that we call Fausto flags, and all these little things we cover that in our classes. But the big thing I want to focus on, keeping it, remember, beginnerish. Big ball, boom, big time in sales. That seller, which you would think would be at resistance levels because there was a seller out there trying to get out of those shares, got executed. How do we know he got executed? Because time and sales, okay? And you could see it from the ball, boom, that seller got executed right there. And if you click your finger on that ball, it will even tell you how much volume went off at that moment. You literally had almost 210,000 shares that went off and they got executed at that price. And then look what ended up happening. What happens from there? Goes to the next biggest resistance levels. Green, 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 green bulls. Where's the next seller out there? Right there around at 1550. And sure enough, you could see how the guy added, as an order, 29,000. Never was able to get past that 15. And by that happening, where are we at now? We got a big brick wall right there at 15. Okay, and not only that, but as much as I'm a day trader, you could still use it as a swing trade. And how you use it as a swing trade? Take your mouse here, scroll, scroll, scroll. Look at these orders now. Look at these red lines. $15.50, $16, $16.50, $17. Do you see a pattern there? Okay, so, and what's great, you could see these limit orders, and you could see when they turned them on, and this is all program trading. This is all program trading. I'm gonna do one last one, and then I'm gonna tell you how I'm gonna get all you guys registered, okay? So let's talk about Tesla. Okay, so Tesla, same thing, okay? There's a big seller right here I wanna point out. And look at the bottom bars. Look at these candles. Let me zoom out. Bring it a little in here. Okay. So as much as the heat map is telling you where the big sellers are and where the big buyers are, you're also noticing here on the bottom, look how the volume is picking up on there. You see how much larger they are. Now I have something which is pretty cool. I know Bruce has one. It's called my cyber clock. And my cyber clock, I built this. I came out with this clock about 30 years ago, and I made it into a mouse pad. You can find it on our website if anybody was interested in getting it. It tells you the worst times and best times to trade. Okay. Now it's a pretty cool thing because it always just kind of reminds you when you should trade and when not to trade. And usually the first hour and the last hour are the best times to trade. So you can see right here, right till 10:30, a big move, and then right after 10:30, boom, the market's kind of flat. Just kind of give you a reminder when you should be in the market, not get into the market. But you can see also the volume down at the bottom of those bars right there, how they got really wide and they start dying out. And the big thing here is look at the green, 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 green. Came up to a big resistance levels here at 230, at 91,000. Once it came there, never wanted to break that seller out there, came right back down. And now you'll see, and like I said, you can see buyers out here for 100,000 at 220. You can see the seller out there at 230. If you're a swing trader and you want to zoom out and you want to see, is there anyone else out there that's got program trading? I mean, I could keep going back, 270, 280. Not really see anybody out there. I mean, these light blues are not really anything spectacular, but I can see here 230 is a big, big resistance. And the thing is this, if you didn't know that resistance level was there at 230, chances are you probably would have converted a winner maybe into a loser. Or maybe you could have been that person that got in there because your indicator finally kicked in, and because you didn't have the book map or you didn't understand at the time in sales and you didn't understand how the orders got filled or if they were getting filled, you could have bought at 230 and now you're stuck at 228. And now or maybe who knows, you could have probably sold at 225, and that's how you convert a winner into a loser or make a loser into a really big loser. That's why it's so important to use these tools, okay? And that's why, understanding at the beginner level, which leads you to come, when you come back and you listen to all these great presenters Bookmap has, and then you'll understand, why they're looking at this. Because, once again, after teaching for 30 years, listen, I have people that don't even understand what is a bid and an offer. Now, some of you probably out there be like, wait, could you tell me what a bid and offer is? And that's okay. And that's okay. And please don't let anybody tell you differently. Like, well, if you don't know what a bid and offer is, you shouldn't even trade. That's just plain old ignorance. That's a person that just, shouldn't be teaching. Okay? Really should not. But you want to learn. It's like, listen, I'm overweight. I got to lose weight. Well, if someone came up to you and said, "Listen, you too overweight, so you're hopeless. Just forget it." That's like, that's horrible. I'm here to learn. Well, I know a lot of people are here to learn, and I know maybe you're starting out and you don't know where to start. And I'll tell you how you have to start. You got to start from the beginning, okay? Because I'm going to make one guarantee to everybody here. The stock market is not going out of business. You and I will die and it'll still be here, okay? It's never too late. Never too late. Every day is a new adventure. So don't be discouraged by listening to other people and not understanding what they're saying. Get down to the basics, but you gotta have the right tools, okay? So with that said, I want to finish off with this. I want to invite all of you to come into my trading room. Now, I started about 30 years ago. I started the first trading room in the industry. And it's a great tool. You can meet the traders. You can meet our students. We have thousands of traders that trade with us. And you know what? Not everyone there is at a given day. Which we don't want you there at a given day. We've got people around the whole world that are in there. But the thing is, when you come in there, watch us how we use the Bookmap. Watch how we use other platforms out there and how they relate to each other, and you'll see how important it is. But before you get into into a sport, let's just call it, let's see how it works. And what's great about it is that we do live commentary at 9 o'clock in the morning Eastern time to about 10:30. We have a great commentary that goes on. We do afternoon commentary also from 2:30 to 4. We're live there all day, but we have live commentary at that time. We got a couple of videos we want to give you, a couple of Bookmap videos to watch. But so if you like the way we teach and the customer service, you know what? We're going to give you the tools to kind of let you see if it's for you or not. Because let me tell you, fellow traders, and I know Bookmap has a very big audience and advanced traders in here. And I think some of you here that looking at this video like, man, this is too beginners for me. But you know that people are always asking you, some of you traders out there, listen, you were there once before yourself. Okay, so listen, everybody's there trying to help each other. Okay, because remember I told you we are the ants on the floor. So don't take it in a bad way. That it's never too late to learn. So this is what I'm looking to do. If anyone's interested, just take your phone, scan that QR code. You could type in that link. You could join us for a week. We're not going to charge you anything as in like residuals or anything like that. It's a money back guarantee. We just want to make sure we know who you are, that you're a real person. We just don't let anybody in our trading room. We do a very thorough vet of everybody in there because we want to make sure you're not a heckler or someone trying to steal our ideas. We have that all the time. But if you're a real person, you want to learn a little bit more about Cybertrade University, why we've been endorsed by every brokerage firm in the industry, from Thinkorswim, TradeStation, NASDAQ, everything, and you want to see why our traders, there's so many schools out there that are students of ours, here's your opportunity to go from there. All right, so I'm pretty much done. Hopefully everybody learned a little bit about the basics of it. Like I said, I'm sorry if I got a little basics, but I think beginnerish is the start of the Bookmap. I've done so many presentations here. I've been here from the beginning with Bookmap, and I've shown a lot of my styles, but I feel that every time I'm talking to some new traders like you, I always get the same questions, and everyone keeps asking me, and I know Bruce deals with this all the time, and this is why they do these events. People ask me, could you explain that to me, that little bull? Could you explain that to me? And you know what? There's no better place than not just go on the Bookmap and ask them, than to get educated by companies like us at Cybertrade University, and that's why we're here today. So with that said, Bruce, do we have any questions I can answer for anyone? Why everyone's interested in registering for the coming into the trading room from there?
Let's see. I just want to clarify. Anonymous trader here is asking about if he put 1,000 contracts or a lot order or shares into the market. If you hit it at market, they would execute immediately. They would not be in the limit order book, but they would show up in the transactions in the volume dots that Fausto is talking about. As the time in sales. Yes, they would show up there. No problem. Now, if you put them in the order book as limit orders, yes, your 1,000 shares would be shown in the order book. All right, in the level 2.
Let me get that in detail because some people will get completely screwed on that. Let me tell you something. The first lesson, the very first lesson we teach you, we're known to teach you 3 letters: tradable, trend, and trap. The first T is tradable. That stock's not tradable. You're about 50% of the people are going to lose all your money in trading. And let me tell you how that works. You said 1,000 shares. You go out there, we're looking at a stock right here, BGLC. You to buy 1,000 shares. Okay, you got 3 columns right there. Okay, you got the brokerage firm or the exchange, the price, if you're looking at what I'm showing you in size. That size right there, if you go out at market, like that guy's showing 600, right? You'll get 600 from him and you'll get the other 400 from the guy next to him. You start looking at other stocks. Let's look at this one right here, SKLS. You want to buy 1,000? Guess what? You're not going to get it at 846. You'll probably end up getting it close to 850. And you're like, wait a minute, how did I pay 4 cents more? And then all of a sudden, like, wait a minute, I made a mistake. I want out. Okay, great. By the time you sell it at market, you'll sell some at 842, and you might get the rest at 839. And boom, you're already down about 10 cents like that in a blink of an eye. And you out there think you're getting 1,000, and you thought you're dealing with stock with a penny spread, and now you're dealing with a 10-cent spread. one of the biggest mistakes that people make. Now, getting back to the book map, yeah, you'll see those time and sales, you'll get executed, but don't buy something without knowing if you're really going to get at that price. But that is a great question. I'm sorry to cut you off, Bruce, but that's one of the biggest things that we teach at Cyber Trading University. That's the biggest failure in trading. Any
Yeah.
other questions?
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. Let's see. I don't think there's any other questions in here. But the Peter, yeah, the reconstructed tape that's for futures. In the CME is what you're talking about. That would not be here in stocks. But I mean, the same concept. It would be reconstructed in stocks as well. So if you hit market at 1,000, for example, maybe it'll be piecemealed out. You'll get 500 transact, and then 250, and then maybe another 250. Right? That's how your transactions will show up. So you'll get one ball would be 500. The next one of yours would be another 250, and then another 250. Right? And that would be your reconstructed tape. Fausto, just a comment on the that's really great way to explain the time and sales. It is just kind of tilted on its side, and it's showing you the time and sales graphically. You're seeing the size that is transacting, and the color gives you what type is transacting.
Right. The color, and you could actually modify something. Like I'm just showing you basics, but like I will make colors if it trades over the ask, and I'll make that like yellow. If it trades below the bid, I'll make it purple. Like some people will cut the line because they're so desperate to get in and out of it. These are strategies that we kind of teach you, and like I don't want to go into more of a level 3 and a level 4 of our class that goes through it. But I think a lot of people here that are new, because Bookmap is growing so fast, and people starting to realize that more advanced traders are starting to use it. I mean, listen, you know me, I do presentations everywhere. I'm actually going to be in Canada in 2 weeks at the Money Show in Toronto. I'm going to be doing a whole presentation on this also. So if anybody's from Canada, you get to meet me. Make sure you register or visit our website. And like I said, I'll be happy to talk to you because I love promoting the product, because it's just everybody here has to understand before you get it though how it works, because what's the sense of buying something you're not going to use it? You know what I mean? But like I told you from the beginning, if you came in late, I've been introduced to so many platforms. I don't deal with any of them. They're all like telling you the past, not teaching the future. But you got to know how it's literally working. I kind of use like a metaphor. Like I look at everybody here coming from public transportation. Now you have the opportunity to drive your own car, but ask a kid if he knows, if you had a car, how to change a tire, right? They're like, well, what do I need to learn that for? Like, well, how did you get stuck? You know what I mean? You want to go, it's great driving a car, but you need to understand how the car works. So if there's ever an issue, you know how to fix it, or there's a problem, you know what's wrong with it. Well, it's the same thing. You got to understand the inner workings of the platform, and then you'll understand like, oh, now I know why I want this and why I don't want that, and that's the reason for it. But it all starts with order flow, time and sales, and that's how the platform works.
Yeah. I mean, like to kind of take your analogy a little bit further, like something that I think you can describe the platform, Bookmap platform, as so the time and sales is basically the volume dots that you see transacting on that best bid and offer over time, and the heat map is showing you your dome or your level 2 over time, both historically and current market.
Exactly.
And then the chart and the price action is already there on the chart. So you see the swings. So basically what you're getting is this kind of integration or composite view of market structure via the price action. You're getting the time and sales with the transactions, and then you're
Right.
getting your level 2 with the heat map.
Right. Well, I wouldn't call it level 2 because level 2 is really like that's pretty outdated. But I'll call it the level 4 version. I always call it level. I know it's not called level 4, but I call it level 4 because I look at level. There's level 1, which is like just the best bid and best offer. Level 2 is what I just showed you, which is right here. So I'll show you the chart. So this is basically level 2 quotes. So level 1 is right here. It's just basically what the bid and offer is. The colors on the bottom is like level 2. And then when I bring up this, you go to NASDAQ, their book viewer, I call that level 3. And then when you look at the Bookmap, which is just a total eye changer, there's your level 4. Okay, so try to keep it like that. Look at 100,000 shares. I mean, look how easy that is. Look, there's a 100,000 share seller at $230. If you looked at trade Tesla, you really want to own it. You really want to hold it after running it. Had it at 126, and now you're coming up to a big seller at 230. When it did that this morning at 10 o'clock, what happened? Boom! It came right back down. This is the power of Bookmap. But before you can understand all our different styles, once again, it all comes down to how does it work, because you don't want to buy something and get involved with it because then you might not use it. And the more you understand the back end of it, the more you're going to appreciate it, the more you're going to take it more seriously, and the more you're going to hear us presenters, us gurus on Bookmap of why we're trading, why we use the way we use it towards our style. So, and that's the beauty of it. And everyone should listen to everybody in here. If you're in options, futures, forex, whatever it is. But another thing, make a point out: you can't learn how to be a trader now after me showing you for 30, 40 minutes. You still got to go through the trial. You got to sit there for a week. You want to see it live. So, but just make sure you go out there and try a little bit of everybody's stuff before you actually start trading with real money.
Excellent. Thank you, Fausto.
Bruce, thanks for having me, and thanks, Bookmap. Keep up the great work, and look forward to seeing you guys next month.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.